overwhelmed right now with lots of different problems in terms of managing your reputation and managing the customer experience in home building, and Avid's going to provide you with some tools here to deal with it. The key to making it work, though, is really embracing authenticity, because authenticity is the key, not just to home building, but the key to the world today. When you take a look at what the young kids want in today's society, they're looking for reviews, right? Online reviews impact 67% of purchasing decisions. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. 74% of consumers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business. And for every 1-star increase in a Yelp rating means 4 to 9% increase in revenue for companies. There's an incredible amount of data that we can point to on the power of reviews for businesses generally. But really, to understand them, you got to understand it in context of the population boom and changes that are happening. When in the United States and as well as in Canada, what we're seeing, of course, is the insurgence of millennials into the home building process, and that home builders today are selling more to millennials than in any other age group here in the United States. 42% of all home buyers on one of our key shopping sites, Zillow, which has over 140 million subscribers, 42% of those people who are shopping for a home today are millennial age. So we have to address the fact that the youth today, what they want is going to drive today's housing. And the number one thing that we see from this survey that was done by Zillow is that 45% tied with energy efficiency are looking for ratings and reviews of their builders. Transparency. They want to see what's happening, and if they don't get that transparency and authenticity in everything that you do as a company, then you're out. You can be in or you can be in the out crowd, and if you're in the out crowd, then you're going to miss the market. There are other things that they're looking for as well, and we can get into all this stuff, the energy efficiency, save the planet, customizations, all this kind of stuff is really relevant to your business, but note the importance of ratings and reviews. And when we really look at being authentic and verified, Avid is right here as your partner to take you through this process, because this is a minefield for many companies to just flip on your reviews. Let's say, in Facebook, or flip on your reviews in Google by launching one of their sites. You're taking a risk that it may not go well. And so with Avid, we're going to bring some consistency and boundaries to this process and control back to the builder. And what we find right now is that 80% or 80.9% of homebuyers consider the reviews and testimonials important when they're researching a builder. And this is really key to the whole process for growing your business. The key also in being authentic is you really can't cherry pick, right? And there was a time when maybe you could do this a couple of years ago. Today you cannot. And we did some research here. Actually, Jess, who's on the call here, was able to find some really good stuff here in your country about what's happening here. And the government of Australia is now considering it, if you're cherry picking reviews and only putting out the happy homeowners and so forth, this is actually a violation of your Competition and Consumer Act of 2010. Now, despite the law, there are other problems too, because this is, there's the authenticity test. If people don't trust, they're not going to believe what they read. And so it's really, really important that we understand this, because the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has basically said you cannot remove reviews that they know to be fake. Selectively removing or editing reviews, particularly negative reviews, is also banned. And offering incentives for those to write reviews is also something that can get you in hot water. So you got to really be careful about what you're doing in this review business, because let's face it, home building is a local business. If you imagine if you woke up Monday morning and all of a sudden your company was being in the media, being highlighted for essentially violating one or all of these things, it could destroy your business, because once trust is lost in the marketplace, you're in real trouble. And for home builders, we struggle with the reputation as it sits, so having your reviews be in line with the law is critical. There was a case study in 2011. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission took action. So they moved against this City Move company for they were putting out misleading online reviews. They admitting to the fact that they were taking reviews and taking out the negatives and also put in testimonials that they considered were genuine even though they weren't, and so they got fined and their reputation was tarnished. And so you're seeing already action. This is happening in the U.S., the FTC in the U.S. and in Canada as well. So countries around the globe are all taking action against reviews, and this is a big deal because when you think about it, there's literally trillions of dollars that are being transacted online or discovered through online shopping, and if they can't trust the reviews, it threatens a lot of commerce. And so this is important that we bring the veracity and validity back into the game of the reviews. Reviews can be a dirty business, but you don't need to subscribe to that. There is a legitimate and valid way for you to grow your business, and with Avid we're going to help you unleash these digital equalizers, get your customer stories out there, and do it in a safe and appropriate manner. So our platform is called Avid CX, CX standing for Customer Experience, and it's made up of these three components: Go Survey, Go Social, and Go Tour. And they effectively work together for home builders. It's purely for home builders. We don't work outside the home building industry. It was designed from the ground up from our industry, and it's tailored really to home builders in that, and you'll see in the tools in here that they really make sense for a company like yours. Go Survey is where we are able to curate your feedback and begin the gathering of that feedback. Because if you don't give your buyers a place for them to vent and provide their feedback, then they're going to go out and find one. And usually those are the public sites where you have little to no control over what's going to happen there. So Go Survey gives them a number of different touch points throughout the construction process. So we might be doing this during, for example, while the home's being built, right, during construction, especially if you have a longer build time. This is a very important survey. We then come in right after move-in, 30 days post-move-in or post-closing or turnover. We have a mid-year, 6 months post-turnover, and 1 year anniversary. And we even actually are talking about a 3-year as well. But for right now, these are the 4 majors that clients today utilize. And so we're not just, surveys are not just a single event anymore, but actually it's a conversation that we're having, and we're not just asking one question, we're actually asking a panel of questions of these customers. But you might be asking, well, what kind of response rates are you getting? We get a tremendous response rate. Right now, last year we got 59.5% of all customers with valid addresses returned our survey. So basically 60% return rate, which was phenomenal. And we see that today across our clients in both U.S. and as well Canada. And we're looking forward to seeing what we can do in Australia. We're getting started with a company up in the Queensland area, and we'll continue to expand with other builders throughout the country. We're going to have a local presence in Australia so that when customers of yours get the surveys, they're going to feel very Australian. And we take great care to make sure that the language differences are accounted for, that we're using any local Australian addresses for returning these surveys, and then we have a forward service that can then get them for processing to us. But effectively, we embrace the country we're in and make sure that we feel a part of that for your customers. We can customize our surveys, which is also very important. So you're not just getting a standard stamped out form. We're actually going to work with your team to develop a form that makes sense. And this is on our enterprise program, which is generally what we sell with, and Thrive will be our representatives in your country to essentially help to grow the business, but also in the future be able to maintain the business and help answer any questions, make changes to surveys, and help us administrate accordingly. All of your data is delivered online through our on-demand dashboard, and so you'll be able to go in on a website and immediately be able to see your data real-time. You'll get real-time alerts, so you can get all the surveys coming, or maybe just the good and the bad, and you can set all those things so that you're keeping in tune with what's coming in. And then we also then support you with our video reports, like we're doing here today with our online meeting. We can then support you and your team, and we have over 25 training programs that we can execute to help you to understand how to create the ultimate customer experience. Our online system is real easy to navigate. You'll be able to go online, see your trend line. We're going to create an Australian benchmark average of just builders, so you'll be able to take your company and see how do we track. I mean, are we doing a great job? Are we doing a poor job? Are we somewhere in between? You'll be able to do that on all of our national questions for the Australian program, and you'll be able to do that on demand. So the reporting system has won multiple awards, and it really gives you the ultimate control right at your fingertips. You can assign different access levels, so you can have frontline people just seeing basic stuff, and then you can have your management team digging in on much higher level benchmarking, and you can do all kinds of customizations inside here. The key is that we're also providing you with deep data, right? As we noted, our surveys aren't the simple, 1 or 2 or 5 questions. We actually go into some great detail because we want to be able to help you as a company identify the pain points in the process. And if you don't ask those questions that are going to bring it out, then you're really left with something that doesn't give you any real guidance. It just tells you, okay, we screwed up, we don't know why, but we got to do something about it. And that's not a good place to be. You want a survey system that's going to give you that deep understanding of what it is. Is it our drywallers that aren't performing? Is it our flooring guys that aren't performing? Or perhaps it's some other trade, right? And when we look at the home building business, you have about 50 trades or so that you're managing, and this is per community, and this is a lot of folks that are doing different things. Our data is going to be able to give you scores in each of those, and you can benchmark your different trades and suppliers in those categories. So just a tremendous amount of interesting data that you're going to get there. We're going to break it down by product reports too, so you'll be able to identify, are we putting in good refrigerators, are we putting in poor toilets or sinks or faucets, paints, all these things that you don't make, you just install. You'll be able to now have data to tell you whether the customers like that stuff or not, and down to the SKU level, compare. And we're going to be able to run some customer reports too as you need. But this is just a sample of what the survey looks like, and so you can see how we've got, and again, this is just a printout version. We actually do online. We also do mail as well, but and we have inbound, outbound phone and multiple languages. So we have our surveys, cover the gamut. And we're in 7 different languages, including Vietnamese, Chinese. We can do any language that you would like, Punjab. We already have those, and we would translate your surveys into the multiple languages. And I know Australia is really an international marketplace. You have folks from all over the world, and so that's going to be critically important, just as it is for our Canadian and U.S. clients. So, but the big key here is how do you really turn all this information into knowledge, right? And this is where our data science team and our analytics come into play, where we can really help you turn this into useful knowledge for your business, so that you're not just getting what I like to say, blinky lights in the server closet. How many services do you pay for today where you don't know exactly what it's doing for your business? It's just a bunch of blinky lights that you're paying for. You're not going to get that here. With Avid, we're very intent on making sure that this data is core to your business. And that's why we've been around for so long, why so many home building clients take our data, they tie it to their bonus and compensation programs, they use it in their purchasing. It's just critical to their daily operations, and they're in here every day. We also published a book called Service Certainty, and this has been a great book to help you understand how you create happiness in an imperfect world, right? Because home building is by nature very imperfect. I like to say I invite Toyota to build me my Camry in the driveway, then we can compare to home building, right? When you think about that analogy, it's so very true. We build homes in an uncontrolled environment with the customer watching. So every error, every mistake, most of these things are picked up by the buyer. So we're imperfect by nature. So how can we make people happy when something is constantly imperfect? Well, service certainty helps us understand that. We turn from looking and focusing on perfection to creating that sense of certainty and confidence in the process despite flaws. And believe it or not, this program has worked miracles for many of our clients, where they stop fighting the bad fight of always trying to be perfect, and they start focusing and embracing the fact that it isn't going to be perfect, getting the customer's mind right, and making everybody okay and happy despite maybe having some things go wrong. So this is a really important concept, and one that we don't have time for. We could spend the whole webinar just talking about service certainty. Certainly one of my passions is, one of the co-authors of the book. but it's key for your business. And so if you're not embracing this, it's making customers happy is going to be a difficult challenge. So what do we do once we're there? Once we're at a point where we're looking at our data and we're saying, this is great, fantastic, we love what we're doing here, our numbers are really strong. How do we take this data and really drive our bottom line? And so then we go to the Go Social, and this is an optional turn on that we flip the switch on this when you're ready, not before. And that's the beauty of our program, is it is a staged program. You can operate and Go Survey in private mode. So that means that nobody can see the data but you and you only, and it does not go out to the internet. Only when we're ready, after studying the data for 3-6 months, then we would say, okay, you know what, you've shown consistent, good, strong performance. It's time to turn it on and let's put the rocket fuel on. Or I like to say, don't let the ice cream melt in the ice cream truck, right? You've got good reviews, let's get them out there, right? Because you're going to sell a heck of a lot more homes if you get these out there. So then we turn on Go Social. And this is now one version of it. This is a socializer where you can then take hand select comments from your homeowners and be able to push them into your social media. And this would be basically a testimonial that goes posts on your wall. And so you can hand select these testimonials and push them out there. And that's all fully within the guidelines of the law. Next, we're able to syndicate and we're able to push out. Now for your folks, we're going to develop new syndication partners, some of them already working with Thrive, where they can take these same star ratings and reviews and now they can put them on your site. So for example, if you're using a rendering company or a video company that's got video tours, we're going to give you tools to be able to get those star ratings embedded and linked into the places where your homes and your marketing are being presented. And so we do this throughout North America today, and we're looking forward to bringing it down to Australia. We also have the ability to point the customers to other sites. So if you're having a problem at Yelp, or you're having a problem at Google, or one of the other sites that might be a local rating site in Australia, we can then hand off the customer post finishing the Avid survey to those sites to get a second review. And this is a great way to now infuse these other sites with the feedback we know is positive because we've already staged it, we know where it is, and now we can launch them into these other places. This is not review gating, so I know that some of you have some knowledge about that. Review gating is prohibited, and review gating is meaning we only send the happy homeowners there. That's not what we do. We essentially test and stage, see if your numbers are good enough, good and bad. But if they're good enough, that mostly good, meaning then we feel safe to go ahead and send them to other sites. If not, then we would turn this off completely. But it's not review gating, and therefore review gating is where you just send the happy homeowners, and that is now prohibited. Lastly, we can create our own star rating report that is optimized in Google itself, so that anybody searching for your home building company in the internet search boom, star ratings come up organically. We usually get page 1 listings there, and we're really excited to launch this for your company. Again, you want to be at a point where you're feeling confident about the numbers, because again, we can't hand pick here. It's all or none, and when you turn it on, you will get a few negative surveys in here. But I like to say a negative survey is a beauty mark, right? You need negative reviews in order to convince the world this isn't a bunch of BS, right? That this is real data, real reviews, unfiltered. And that is why a negative review is a beauty mark, because it helps convey that authenticity. And so this is an important and sometimes difficult concept for companies to embrace, the idea that they will be imperfect. But I tell you, once you do embrace this, your business will go through the roof. Because buyers today aren't looking for perfection. What they're looking for is authenticity. Companies they can trust are more valuable to them than companies that appear perfect. So this is key to our philosophy. And again, you don't have to do this. It's a turn on or turn off scenario. So we can say, you know what, we're not going to do this, but we like the survey part. We're going to do that. And we're going to wait till we're ready. And we're here to help you to build your business up. Here's just a view of one of our clients, Abrazo, who we've helped really take over page 1 in search. So anybody searches for them, they've got great reviews now on the Google My Business listings, great reviews over at Facebook, and of course Avid right here, page 1 with them as well, dominating and taking over page 1 with great social validation. Okay, and the last piece of the platform is GoTour. And so GoTour is our essential digital integration tool that allows you to bring in your virtual tours and combine them with reviews. Because all of you must present your homes in some way as a home builder, right? You either have video, or maybe you're using Matterport or slideshows or different technologies that are out there. It's a dime a dozen. But how do you make those tours more than pretty pictures? You do that with GoTour today. And when you look at what the customers want today is they want details, right? If you look at buying a car, you can see what kind of tires are on that car, what kind of radio, how many speakers, kind of leather, right? You wouldn't buy a car unless you knew those details. Why are they going to buy a home? Just because it looks pretty. They want to know, what are the sinks, what are the countertops, what are the faucets. These are the things that they're interested in today, and you got to feed them that. With GoTour, you can take your beautiful tours, combine them with options easily, and host customer reviews of your own stuff as well as with your products. And so here you can see this is a more generic tour where they have star ratings for the builder listed here, and not necessarily the products, but although you could go to the product level as well. And so this is really a great way to integrate your multiple technologies of tours and bring them into one place. And more importantly, empower them with the power of reviews and giving them the options and details. We maintain about 2 million product options that we can bring in, and as well we're looking forward to bringing in local manufacturers in Australia to participate and help to give you this data. So they give you the pictures, they give you everything. All you got to do is essentially click on it and say, yep, this is specified in my house and I want to show it to my customers. What we've seen are tremendous results. When you put these three things together, beautiful pictures of the homes, customer reviews, as well as the options that may be available, you create that synergistic effect on that tour that gets buyers totally excited. And this is what Google calls zero moment of truth. You create a zero moment of truth when you combine those three things together. The pretty pictures, the options that go with that product, and the reviews. And here's another tool. So we're using, I don't know if you're using Matterports down in Australia, but they're pretty much a worldwide phenomenon, so likely some of you are. It's a scan tool where you can put this camera in the house and it'll basically do a digital scan of the house. We integrate with that as well, and we can bring in your reviews and options into it. And we also can bring in AR, so or VR. So for example, you may have some guys that are putting together some rendering-based homes. They're not even built, right? They're just computer generated. We can bring those into GoTour as well. So here's just a couple of use cases here. For example, Viridian Homes, this is a company here in the States. They use all our products and they've increased their sales dramatically, right? I mean, obviously market conditions vary, but this is during the downturn when we were just coming out of it, and they were just outperforming the market tremendously with 20% sales increase, as well as a 40% increase in their option sales for their sponsored products. These would be products that they highlighted. Kohler is a big partner of ours, a manufacturer, and this is where we bring them to our builder clients to help them pay for many of the tools that we have here, as well as represent their products and provide you with those assets. And we work with the leading industry folks as well in a number of the demonstration homes, and we did the last International Builders Show in Las Vegas where we demonstrated some of the key show homes there. And so that's really a quick snapshot of what we're doing here at Avid and how we will begin to help companies in Australia. So I look forward to opening this up for some dialogue. I've got Jessica Lysing on the call, as well as Tom Kuhn, who's here with Avid to help answer any questions that you have regarding our product. But I'll stay on the call here for a few minutes while we hear from you folks. So thank you for your time.
Paul. Hi, Clarendon. How are you, mate?